Hello, my name is Ryan Gilbert. Today I'll be talking about the paper I have written for Professor Feitel's class about the benefits of medical parole and compassionate release. So without further ado, let me get started on it. Um, the increased call for sick and elderly people, prisoners to be exact, to be released in the U.S. has skyrocketed. Whether it's a family member or a significant other or anything along the lines of people in the family or all of that, people are calling for the voices to be heard when regarding the people that they care about in prison. um, so like I said before, the call for it, people have been very adamant on the fact that he or she deserves to be released based off compassionate or medical release, given the fact that they may be ill or given the fact that they may be very old and their days are coming to an end. Um, Now, the biggest part of this, one of the biggest part of this whole process in terms of medical and compassionate release is the judge. The judge who gets handed this case, quote unquote, he or she gets the final call, pretty much on the release, and whether it's medical or non-medical, the judge will determine, based off the facts, if this person should be let out of prison. Um, I hinted at, or I talked about for a long time in my paper about the financial strain on the prisons with these elderly people and the people who may need a lot more assistance, whether it's for medical reasons or anything else. The strain that goes on these prisons is extreme. $40,000 is the average for the healthcare per person, whether they're aging or they're sick. That is much more than the average for a regular prisoner. The cost could be a lot less if the person was released or if the person was not in prison anymore based off the fact that their days are coming, like I previously said, or based off the fact that they are extremely ill and they deserve to be somewhere more beneficial for their health. A lot more money is spent on, compared to the average person. Like I said before, a lot more money compared to the average person in prison. 14 times, actually, to be exact. And it's just more ideal for a prisoner to be released at that age or released because of their medical issue than it would be just to keep them in there and keep spending all this money. Because granted, whatever this person may have done, whether, obviously it was awful to be in jail for that long, the money they would be saving that they could put to use for other people or for equipment or for whatever they may need it for would be tremendous in terms of the amount they would be saving. Talked about the low risk in releasing prisoners. There is extremely low risk because of these people's ages or because of their medical condition. If you're going to release a person who has stage 4, terminal cancer and is 90 years old, 92 years old, that's much more efficient to release them based off the fact that they are most likely not going to make it and of their age. So that would be a prime example of how this would work. This is one of my quotes from my actual paper. The recidivism rate for aging and terminal prisoners is a mere 3.5% compared to the 40% for younger, healthier prisoners. So that's just a little fact based off what I was just talking about previously with the age difference and obviously the medical difference with some prisoners. Now, if they do get released and the judge, does rule this and everything, goes well, it allows them to spend time in proper facilities. I talked about this, in my paper as well, obviously. But it allows them to be where they are, most comfortable and surrounded by family. And that's a huge thing for them. And I there's always going to be a other side to it. People who are going to say, he doesn't deserve this, she doesn't deserve this. But it is what is right, in my opinion. And I kind of hinted at that in the paper, you can kind of tell where I lean towards. But everyone has their own opinion of this, but it's a huge thing, and I think that people do deserve some sort of normalcy, especially if they are sick. If they are sick, there's no need for them to be in prison. I'm talking like seriously ill. We're not talking like a cold. So like this all has to do with seriously ill patients and or compassionate release due to age and other things. The other side to this is the failure to grant release in time, resulting in death or something, worse. Well, I don't know really what's worse than that, but failure to release in time can result in death. And it's a huge process for these people. And it's not easy to get compassionate or medical release. It has to go through a lot of stages, and failure to get this done in time can result in death and a probably very angry family. That being said, like I said before, if they do get medical release or compassionate release, a lot of the times people the failure to understand the policies that go with the releases of the prisoner, and that's a huge issue in and of itself. There are policies, obviously, not going to just release this person and let them go do whatever they want, even though if they can't, pretty much, based off the fact that they are sick. But there are policies with everything, especially in prison. So there has to be a very strict understanding on not only the judicial side and the court side and the prisoner side, but the prisoner himself or herself. They have to understand the rules and policies that go along with this. The medical and compassionate release, they do require a prognosis from a physician. So say someone in prison is extremely ill, like I said, with the stage 4 cancer, or whether it's I do not, the only thing I do not know is the significance of where they would draw the line in terms of, say a guy has diabetes and it's gotten to him, or maybe he's gotten stage 1 cancer and he's already beat it once, and I don't know the answer to all that in terms of, because I think that's opinion based, and I think that's up to the judge, whoever he or she is, to base off of what they think is best. But I think personally, if somebody is very, very, very ill, like I'm talking like less than a month or less than 2 months, that they should be definitely recognized by this. But it has, like I said, it has to go through a physician's A-OK, pretty much. And with that being said, that's about it for my paper. Last thing I wanted to say, if it is done, if prisoners are granted release, it needs to be done in the right way. It needs to be done the right way and the right time. I know I've leaned more towards the yes in terms of why should we release people, why should this happen, but I'm not fully, in my paper I was not fully leaning towards one side or the other. I'm kind of gently going towards the yes, release them if they're ill, or the compassionate release, but it has to be, like I just said, it has to be done at the right time and for the right person. It cannot be miscrewed in any other way, and that's a huge part of it too. And it's difficult for people, difficult for anybody, whether it's a parole officer or a judge. It's very difficult to say, hey, yeah, I'm going to make this guy's life a lot easier, and send him here, or send him home with family. So it's a very big decision, and it should not be underlooked at all, because there are a lot of things that go into this. This is somebody's life we're talking about, and usually most of the time with this stuff happening, it's the end of their lives. And I think the right thing to do, the most humane thing to do, in the right circumstances, of course, is to release people if they need to be released, and if everything that they have that's wrong with them align with the reasons to be released in the first place. So that being said, that is the end of my video. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.